Hi, I'm Marnie and welcome to Exploring Colors. Today we are going to use paint and very special markers to create a pointillist portrait. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to open up our brand new Exploring Colors box and I wonder what's inside. Wow, it's super colorful. This is great. We're not going to need everything today, so we're just going to take out a couple things. The first thing we're going to take out is the red tissue with the orange belly band, and we are going to take out this big yellow with a green belly band. And we're going to take out the orange with the yellow belly band. And I have a case with pom-poms on it. I'm going to take that out too. And taking a quick look to see what we leave in. And this little plate. And everything else we're going to take off the table for next time. And let's see what we have. Okay, we know what the plate is. And the plate we're actually going to use today. In previous boxes we've used the plate to create mobiles, but today we're going to use it to put our paintbrushes out. Now let's see what's inside of your little case, and you may have a different color, and it has this very special latch. We're going to need the pencil. We're going to take that out. And I think that's actually one more thing. We have these Q-tips. Let's see what we're going to use them for. And I'm going to zipper it back up and put it on the side. And let's see what's inside the orange. I love opening up all of these because I never really know what's inside. I forget. And you have no idea what's inside. Okay, so this is very thick cardstock white paper. And we're just going to need one sheet right now. So I'm going to put the rest aside for another day. And maybe after you do this, you'll want to do a second one. Then we also have this yellow, which I'm going to open up. And let's see what's inside. Wow, these are very special dot markers. And we're going to open them up in a minute. But these are very special markers. I don't know if you've ever used these before, but we're going to have fun with these today. And we have one more thing to open. So let's see what's inside the red. Wow, we have paint. And this is tempera paint. And this paint is washable. And it's in these little tubes. And we're going to use that today too. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is a portrait? Any ideas? A portrait is a picture of a person. And you can do a self-portrait, which means it's a picture of yourself. And sometimes artists look in mirrors. They place a little mirror in front of them as they're drawing so that they can look at all the features, the different things on their face, their eyes, their nose, their mouth. And sometimes we do a portrait of another person. In another lesson, we're going to go into depth on how to draw a very perfect portrait. But today, we're going to do a portrait. We're going to go a little quicker because today we're going to do it in the style of pointillism, which means little dots, little points and dots, and we're going to do different sizes. The other thing you're going to need before we get started, ask your grown-up for a little cup of water, and we're going to use that with the paints, and some paper towel or napkin. And one last thing that you can also get from your very first box. In our very first box, we did a really wonderful, we had wonderful supplies at our very first box also, and we had these Crayola washable markers. And I'm taking this out of my very first box because I may want to use it today. And if you can't find it, you can just use any markers you have at home, but it might be fun to add them into this project. And part of Exploring Colors is you're building an art library, so you can go back to previous boxes and use some of the supplies. That's part of the fun. So the first thing we're going to do is a portrait. And we're going to think about what shape our head is. Let's see, is it square? I don't think so. Is it a triangle? Mm-mm. It is kind of round, right? But if you said like an oval, that's pretty close. So when I want to draw a portrait, I don't want to do a teeny little drawing. Sometimes children, when I've taught, I've seen children draw teeny little heads, and it's really hard to do the features, all the different things on the face. So we're going to make our face really big. We're going to take up the whole sheet of paper, and I'm holding my paper lengthwise, so it's long, so it'll be easier to do our portrait today. So I'm going to take my pencil. This is our chunky pencil, and I am going to go above my paper. I like to do it this way, where I draw an oval in the air, and then I'm going to drop my pencil, and very lightly I'm going to do an oval. And then I can pick the lines that I like the most and make it darker. And if I make a mistake, I have an eraser. I can erase all the other lines. And you had a chunky pencil in another box. This is your second chunky pencil, just in case you wanted to have another one. I think pencils are great fun. Okay, so now I'm going to think about what's on your face, right? We're going to do a simple drawing kind of quickly, and then we're going to go in with our paints and markers. So where are your eyes? Sometimes people say the eyes are like on the top of the head, but not really. If I think about my whole face, my eyes are kind of in the middle. So I'm going to make a line over the middle, a very light line, so that I can still draw that in and erase it afterwards. So our eyes are really kind of the shape of a football or an almond, right? So I'm going to do two of them, because I have two eyes, and I think you do too. And then I'm going to do, there's a round part, that's the colored part of my eye, right? And then there is a pupil, that's the black part of your eye, and that's like a small little circle inside the color part. So I'm going to just do little C's, because sometimes there's a highlight where the light hits it, and that is usually white. So the next thing, if I go for my eyes, above my eyes are eyebrows, right? And there are little lines, but I'm going to use paint to put that in. And I have eyelids over my eyes and eyelashes. And you can do little lines for eyelashes if you want, or you don't have to. Because this is going to be a different kind of portrait, you'll see. Now the next thing, after my eyes, I have this thing here that helps me smell. What do we call that? That's your nose, right? So the nose is like halfway between the eye and the chin. So I'm going to do another line that's like roughly halfway. And I'm going to do a line going from the eyebrow down and then from the other one. And a very quick nose, you can, there are lots of ways to do noses, but I'm just going to do a C and a backward C, and then two nostrils, those are the holes, and a little bowl. And this is going to be a rough drawing. Now the next thing is my mouth, right? And I only have one mouth, but two lips. So that is also halfway between the bottom of the nose and the chin. So I'm going to do another line. Oh, look at that. I got a little bit of my lipstick on the paper, but it's okay because I'm going to do lots of dots and circles around it. You won't even see it. Okay, so I'm going to go up and down because that's kind of like the top part of my lip, which I'm not going to touch again. And then the bottom is a bowl. It's like a bowl. And then in between where my lips separate, it kind of goes up and down also. Okay, so now what are these? I'm wearing really colorful and fun pom-pom earrings that a friend gave me. I love these. Whoops. Oh, what just came off? That's crazy. Anyway, so you can't be rough with your earrings. So I am going to start the ear where the eye is, and it kind of ends where the mouth is. So it kind of goes out and then back in. Actually, does it? Let's see. Oh, where the nose is, not the mouth. That was a mistake. Okay, so that's pretty much my portrait. And then I have hair, right? My hair is back, but your hair goes over your head. It's not flat on top of your scalp. So you want to draw that. And we also have this thing called a neck, right? And the neck goes all the way from one ear. It goes down, and then you have shoulders, and down, and you have shoulders. And in another box, we're going to go into detail with all of this. So today was just a rough sketch just to get you started. Okay, now I think I'm going to put my pom-pom over here so I can fix my earring later. Now we're going to look at our markers, our very special. It's called Do a Dot marker. Okay, we got lots of colors here. I'm going to take them all out. Orange and red and purple and blue and yellow and green. And I'm going to keep this box because I think this is really easy and fun to put it back in. And the box has polka dots on it because I think that's what we're going to be doing, lots of polka dots. So we're going to start, when you start using these markers, you have to turn the top. And sometimes the color doesn't come out right away. So you may have to kind of pump the color into the little pad. There's a circle pad at the top. So I'm going to start with my face. So I'm just going to do dots. Now, my marker worked right away, but if yours doesn't, just kind of pump it. Go up and down, and it'll eventually, after 2 or 3 pumps of dotting it, the paint will come out. So I'm going to dot, and I'm going to leave some white background, and I'm going to not go into the eyes. I'm just going to go around the face, and I'm not going to go into the lips. And I am going to do, I forgot to do a shirt on mine. I'm going to do a shirt. I'm just doing like a round shirt. It's nice and loud, right? And then when you put your top on your marker, you have to twist it tight. Otherwise, they dry up. And I hate when my markers dry up. Okay, so now I'm going to do some orange. And I'm going to think a little bit about this. I'm going to think that one side of my face might be in shadow and the other in highlight. And we've done this before. So I'm going to go down the side of my face with my orange. And I'm going to go down the side of my neck a little bit with the orange. And then I can kind of look at this and see, well, what else? Maybe I'll go down my nose a little bit. And you can get creative with this. You can kind of do it like this, but I'm leaving like more yellow and white on one side, on the right side, and on the left I did more orange. And I'm going to make sure I put the top on tight. Now I'm going to do my eyes. Okay, I'm going to use a little green, and let's see, I'm just going to tap it carefully because I don't want it to be solid green, and I want to leave a little white. And let's see what happens. I like to mix colors if I do a teeny bit of blue. I just kind of went on the side of it, and now I'm going to twist it shut. And now I'm going to go in with the red for my lips. And you have to be kind of careful in your lines, right? And okay, so let's see what colors for the hair. I'm going to use the red. But I'm going to have fun with the hair. Like, my hair is browny red, so I'm going to put some blue in. And that makes it look very purple, right? And I like the look of when the dots go over each other. That's kind of fun. Now I wonder what would happen if I used a little orange in there. And see how your eye starts to mix the colors? There was a very famous artist named George Seurat who loved to do landscapes and group portraits with pointillism, and he would do little dots, and his work is beautiful. So this is kind of a fun thing. I'm going to make my shirt, even though it's black, a little purple, because I love purple. And we can break the rules a little bit, right? So you can have fun with this. You can really use your imagination and change colors around if you want to. I'm going to add a little blue to my purple, because I think the more colors you do, sometimes the more interesting it is. I'm going to do some green in the background, and I'm going to leave some white, because when the dots are really close together, it becomes like a solid green, and I want to add other colors. Okay, so now I realize my ears, I didn't fill those in. So I'm going to fill them in with a little yellow, and you can always go back over any area that you want to. So it looks pretty good now, right? And I made sure all my tops on my markers are tight. And I think I'm ready to put my markers back in to the box. And I'm doing that so that, so that I have them for next time. I like to put my art supplies away. When I was a little girl, I had an art teacher who taught us that we had to really take care of our art supplies. And if you do, they last a really long time. So that's what I try to do. Okay, so now I am going to look at these Q-tips. And these Q-tips are going to be used to make little dots. So I'm going to put like maybe 4 Q-tips out on the plate, and I'm going to put the rest away, and I can seal the bag again. And maybe I'll put the Q-tips into this zipper bag. And I'm going to put my pencil in here too, and this way I have everything for next time. I like to stay organized with all these. Okay, so now let's see what this paint is. You may need a grown-up to help you open this, or maybe not. Maybe you're very strong. Let's see what's inside here. Okay, we have a paintbrush, and the paintbrush, if you put it in a little water, I'm going to move my water over. You can wet the bristles, and I can just leave it in that for now. And these are really cool paints where you have to kind of flip the top open, and you can ask your grown-up if you have a hard time opening. But we're going to use these again, so we're going to have to make sure we shut them nicely at the very end. But we have lots of great colors, and I have some colors I didn't have in my markers. Like I have brown and I have black. So, and I have white. We don't have a white marker. So I'm going to open them all up. Now, if you want to keep your surface really clean, you can take a paper towel and you can put the paints on that, which I'm going to do. Now this is going to make we can do 2 things. I'll start with the paintbrush. The paintbrush can be used to make lines, right? We can put in a little black, and I can make a line on my hair if I want. And I can put it in the water again and dip it into the paint. And the water makes it a little bit more transparent. But I can also, if I want, use a marker. This is why I pulled out my markers from the first box. I'm going to find the black marker right now. This might be easier too than the paintbrush. Like I may want to go over the eye that I drew, just to kind of make it bold so I can see it. So I did the pencil line, and now I'm going over with my marker. And you don't have to do this, but it might be, it might help you see your picture again. This is just a suggestion, and you can do it with your paintbrush, you can do it with your marker, you could do it with both. You may come up with your own idea that's really fun, and you could do it in a different color. You don't have to do it in black. I just like the way it looks in black, so that's why I did it. So you can see my water got very dark, and you can change your water. I'm not going to take the time to do it now, but when water gets a little mucky, it's good to change it so that you're using fresh water with fresh paint. Okay, so I could now, I'm going to rinse my brush out, and it's clean, and I can use my finger to kind of, when it's clean, to kind of reshape it. And I could go into the red, let's say, and do little dots. They're more like little lines, right? These dots are kind of lines, but I can add little little specks of color. And maybe I go in, I'm going to clean it in between colors. You always give it a little bit of a bath in between. So maybe I use a little brown now to shadow my face a little bit. I'm going to go down one side and down the other side, and maybe a little bit in my ear, and maybe a little bit of green in the eye, little dot. Now I want to show you, if you don't use the brush, you can also use the Q-tip. And you don't have to dip it in the water right away. Like, I could dip it in the green and just do dots. And I don't want to fill it all in. I want to leave some of it white. And I could use the back side of it, although it can get a little messy. Like, I'm going to do a little brown. And this makes really great polka dots, really little polka dots. Around my eyes, I'm going to do teeny little polka dots. And I love the look of like really small polka dots and then really big polka dots. We did the marker first and now the paint. And I like how it looks when there isn't a lot of paint on it, where it gets transparent, and it kind of blends really well. Now, I can put the dirty Q-tip there, and I can use a clean brush. And if I think something is too much, I can move it with my brush. I thought that there were too many dots there, so I'm moving it around a little bit with my brush. And you always want to clean your brush afterwards. And now I can take a new Q-tip, and now I want to decorate a little bit around my neck. So maybe I'll use a little red. And I can also use the red in the hair. You can see how different the Q-tip looks than the paintbrush. The Q-tip really gives you, if you go straight up and down, a great circle. And I can even put some of the red into the shirt. Now, depending on how close you make the circles, it will get darker or stay a little lighter. Okay, and now I could even do a little bit of red into the lips. But I want to leave some of the lighter red. Now, if I flip it over, what would happen if I went into the white? I wanted a highlight in the eye, so I just did that. And I'm wondering if I could do it on the neck a little bit, if it shows up. And let's see, what happens if I do it near the eyebrow? Then I can add more colors. So I'm just seeing what the effects are. It's subtle, which means it's not that apparent, it's not that obvious. And now I think the background has green, so let's put another shade of green with polka dots. And we can add, I like to use like another shade of that color and then a totally different color. I think it adds a really fun effect. But this is called pointillism. Okay, so maybe I'll add a little blue on the background. And you can take your time, and you could do portraits of everybody in your family. You could really have fun with this. You could, you know, do your mom, your dad, your siblings, maybe a friend. We've given you a little extra paper too, so you can have fun with that. You'll need at least one piece for next week, but you have 6 pieces, so you're in good shape. And you can use other paper at home. You could even use your printer paper, but I like to use a thicker paper because I think it allows me to really have fun and go to town with doing a lot of paint and markers and it doesn't get wrinkled. Okay, my eyebrows. I'm going to do a little bit of red. And if your hands get messy, like mine got messy, and I'm not going to do the circles so close together, I'm going to do them a little further apart. It's okay if you get messy. Part of exploring with art is getting messy, and that's okay, and it's fun. So you can always clean up after. And if your grown-up doesn't want you to get messy in a certain surface, you can always put out newspaper, or you could put out paper towels. But part of exploring is messy. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. I can let it dry and I can always go back to my markers afterwards, but cleanup is really important. So we're going to use these paints next week. So in order to do that, you have to hear it snap when you shut it. Each color needs to snap. I'm going to put the lid on, and then I can come back to this next week, and I'm going to put it back into this little box because I think it will keep it neat. And I'm going to put everything back into my Exploring Colors box. And I am going to use these markers next week too. And you can just throw out these. You can let them dry, throw them out. You can save the plate, let it dry for next week if you want to, because we're going to be painting again next week, but we're going to be doing something else. You're going to rinse out your water and clean your brush. And the brush can go back into the little box, or you can rinse out your brush with a little soap and water, which I don't have right here. But you're going to make sure that when you use it on a piece of napkin or paper towel, it's clean, and mine is clean. So I'm going to put it into my little zippered pouch. I love these pouches because then I know where to find everything. These Q-tips are going to be just thrown out because they're not going to be great circles next week. The paint will get hard and we have more than enough Q-tips to use. So I wanted to show you, I did another portrait, and they're each a little different, but I did one earlier and I wanted to show you both. And I hope you have fun and you explore your own portrait. I did a self-portrait, maybe you will too. And I can't wait to see what you guys have all created. Please have your grown-up help you put it up on Instagram with the hashtag Exploring Colors, and we can share all the different pointillist portraits we made this week. And I can't wait to see you next week.